I'm going to share the greatest opportunity this housing market has for real estate agents in this video. And before we jump into that, a lot of you have been asking about what a coaching relationship could look like. So if you're a real estate agent watching this video, you're not earning at least $10,000 a month every month consistently, I'm going to put a link in the description of this video, right underneath this video. You can schedule some time for us to have a conversation to talk about a coaching relationship. We could talk about what it would look like for me to help you build a 6 or even multiple 6-figure income as a listing agent so that you've got your nights and weekends off. You can stop chasing buyers around and focus on building a predictable and profitable listing agent business. So if that's you, I'll put a link in the description. If not, let's jump into today's video. So let me start off by talking about the problem with most agents' lead generation. Now, we know, all right, so there's 10 homes here, and I'm going to talk to you about this opportunity that we call the silver tsunami, all right, and I'll break that down in just a second. So that we know already that 1 out of 10 homeowners, or about, we'll say, 10% of the market is looking to do business right now. We already know that. You know that as a marketing person, hopefully, being an entrepreneur in real estate, you understand that. Now, the issue with this is that everybody is looking for these properties, this 10%. And the reason I put that in red is because it's a bloodbath. It's a bloodbath from a marketing and advertising and prospecting perspective to go after these homeowners. I mean, everybody's going after these homeowners. Every real estate agent, there's a ton of competition, and it's very, very, very difficult. However, in this market, there's a huge portion of people that are going to be selling their home that are not in this 10% that your competitors simply aren't aware of. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So the question is, and the problem, so problem A, we'll say, is, we'll put this here. So problem A with most agents' lead gen is it's all focused on this 10%. And they're going after things like expired listings and for sale by owners and these people that are looking to do business right now. And it's very difficult business, okay? Then I'll say problem B, which is also a bigger challenge, is then you've got agents that just have a shotgun approach, right? They do things like circle prospect, or they'll just cold call, or they'll do this is a good one. They'll do like farming. Oh, that's a good one. They'll farm a neighborhood, and so that is what we call a shotgun approach, and they're going after all 10 of these homeowners. Right? They're going after every single one. There's no focus here on the approach. They're going after everyone, right? They're chasing all the rabbits in hopes to find the 1 out of 10. Well, here's my question for you. Wouldn't it make sense as a business owner, and this little gem that I'm about to share with you is going to change, I think, everything when it comes to your client acquisition strategy. At least some of you it will. What if instead of going after every Tom, Dick, and Harry, what if there was inside of the market about 20% of the market that made up the biggest opportunity for listings in your market, or that nobody knew about? And instead of spreading your prospecting, advertising, marketing efforts after going after everybody, what if you just honed in on these 20%? And all of your marketing and all of your prospecting and all of your lead generation was focused on just going after this 20%, where there was no competition and it was of the highest quality business. In other words, let's just say that each one of these was represented a unit of energy. So right now, let's just say you've got 10 units of energy. And right now, most agents are spreading that 10 units of energy, going after 10 different opportunities. And so what if you had all 10 of these units? We'll just say this is model B. We're going to go all 10 of these units of focus or units of energy. We're going to focus this on one demographic or the 20%. In that you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All of your energy going into one opportunity. Well, what am I referring to? You're like, Brandon, just get to it, dude. What is it? What is it? Well, what we're really talking about here is what everybody on the media is talking about, which is the silver tsunami. These are the baby boomers. These are the downsizers that a lot of people, a lot of economists believe will be the greatest supply of inventory over the next 15 years. As a matter of fact, let me show you this. So here's what it says. It says a surge of homes hitting the market as baby boomers downsize is expected to boost housing supply across the US over the next 15 years. Check this out. Listen to this. 27.4% of the nation's owner-occupied homes could be listed for sale over the next 2 decades. In other words, 1 out of every 3 homeowners hits this criteria. And here's the thing. How many of you watching this video right now? I mean, obviously, if I'm coaching you, you probably are working this source, but the people I'm not coaching, I'm not working with, which is most of you watching this, I'm probably not working with, and that's okay. How many of you right now have a marketing or prospecting strategy to go after specifically this demographic? Now, what I mean by downsizers is this. All right, so let's get really, really specific. So when we look at this group of people and we say, okay, well, let's define downsizers just so, Brandon, we're on the same page. Here's what it is. All right, so number one, they have a property that they own that is free and clear. All right, it's free and clear. Number two, they are empty nesters. In other words, we can pull data to understand if people are empty nesters or not. Again, for those of you that are maybe newer to business or newer to marketing, that might be a foreign concept for you. But for those of you that really get marketing, you understand how easy this is to pull this data. So one, that's free and clear. They own no mortgage. It's paid off. Two, they're empty nesters. The reason why it's important to build your targeted list on empty nesters is we want to go after the property that they raise their kids in. Because we know the downsizers are selling the big home, which becomes part of their overall wealth creation, part of their retirement plan. We don't want to go market to them after they've already downsized. So we want them to be an empty nester. Number three, the home is bigger than the average in that market. So we want it to be bigger. So if the average home in your market is, let's just say, 2,500 square feet, maybe. So really what you're looking at with this are homes that are like 4,000 square feet, right? 4,000 square feet. And then number four is that the master is on second floor. These are all the demographics that companies, maybe you're already working with companies like this that sell you this likely to list data. This is a huge portion of it, okay? This is a huge, huge portion of it. Because here's the thing. Now that we said, okay, now we know the criteria that we're referring to. They're free and clear. They have no mortgage. It's an empty nester, which means they had kids, but now those kids have moved out. It's bigger than the average property. And that master bedroom is on the second floor because these people, when they get older, they get 65, 68, 70, 75 years old. They're no longer working. They've got this big home. It's now paid off. Especially over the last couple of years, this thing is worth more than it ever has been worth. They cash in, they get something smaller, they buy the next place with cash. With the remaining capital that they made from the home, they put it into their investment, into their retirement plan. And so here's the thing, is when we look at this from a conversion standpoint, we know a huge portion of these people are going to be selling. Now, I go back to your marketing approach. What would be better for you? Okay. What would be better for you? A, You could say, okay, if I've got my 10 units of focus, would it be better that you spread that out under these 10 different properties where you don't know who's going to be selling? It's like, that's a huge question mark. Or, right? Or, and just to clarify that, inside of this list, if you're going to just do mass advertising, mass marketing, cold calling, farming, circle prospecting, you're just playing like a numbers game. You're just taking a shotgun approach, hoping that you're going to hit, 1 or 2 out of 10, versus what I'm talking about in this video. It's the same 10. It's the same 10, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What if you just had a list, a targeted list, where all 10, every single attempt that you made from a marketing or lead generation perspective was after a group of people where all 10 of them had the highest likelihood that they were actually selling with the lowest amount of competition? What would happen? So let me show you. I want to show you a post I made in my private coaching community and what some of my coaching clients are saying. All right. So I'll just pull up this one post. I said, hey, what is your highest converting lead source right now? And you can see likely to list, which downsizers is in there. But when we pull these out, downsizers has the highest conversion. What does that mean? That means, just so for those of you that are maybe newer to lead generation, that means a 5%, okay? 5% are converting into an actual qualified seller lead. So for every 100 contacts, okay, you can, let's get rid of that. You can expect 5 of these people to actually be a qualified lead. Well, what is a qualified lead, Brandon? Okay. And just so you know, 5%, when we look at that, I mean, if you compare that to an internet lead or to a Google PPC lead or a Facebook lead or an opt-in on a web form, I mean, the math there, it's like less than 1%. So when you're comparing apples to apples, it's like this, just so you know, you might say 5%, man, that sounds pretty low. It's in terms of actual lead conversion, it's massive. And so not only is it a 5% conversion, I'm going to talk about what a quality lead is in just a second. You actually had a voice-to-voice conversation with this person. It wasn't like they just opted in on some random website. All right. So what do I mean by qualified lead? So when we talk about a Q lead, we're talking about one, they have a specific reason. They've given you actual motivation for selling. All right. A lot of people are chasing leads that actually have no motivation. So number one, they give you a specific reason. And most of the times you're calling or you're marketing or you're advertising to a list of people that all have the same reason. It's like, I'm looking to downsize. I have a house that's paid off. It's free and clear. All of your marketing is going into this one basket. So the amount of people that you're going to be talking to, let alone just generating quality leads, quality conversations all the time. So one, they have a specific reason for selling. Number two, they give you timelines, specific timelines. Number three, which is really, 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 really important. They have no agent. And they have agreed to interview you. So a lot of these downsizers don't have relationships with real estate agents the same way that maybe a younger generation does. And so they have no agent. They invite you to follow up, and they give you a valid email. Okay? So they have a specific reason for selling, specific timelines, no agent. They invite you to follow up, and they give you a valid email address. So 5% of the time, you can expect to get a high quality seller lead with your lead generation. All right, so let me show you like one of the markets as just an example of how easy this is. So I log into my MLS, I log into Remine, and if I just throw in one of the cities I serve, you can see right here, there's over 25,000 different prospects in here. Like, we don't want that widespread, just go chase everybody, because you chase everything, you end up getting nothing, right? The man who chases two tails catches none, something like that. I forget how it goes. You guys will probably correct me in the comments, I'm sure. So if we start to say, okay, well, let's get a little bit more targeted here. And we can start to build out this list of downsizers. We can say, okay, I want to go to ownership timeline. I could say, I want to go after people that have been in this property for 20 years or more. All right. This wouldn't even be an example, by the way, of like a list that you could get from like a list broker who can pull all the different demographics that I talked about before. So this whittles this down to already 6,000 people from 25,000. Well, the next thing I can put in here is I can say mortgage age, has no mortgage. It's free and clear. So if I just apply that one little simple filter, now I've got this list of 2,300 people on my list that now I can market to, I can advertise to, I can prospect, right? And so let's just look at that. We know that a huge portion of them are going to be downsizing. The only question is, are you in conversation with them? So what am I recommending? What I'm recommending is this. So if we look at your lead generation right now, let's just say whatever you're doing today is generating 20 new conversations per day. All right. So 20 new conversations. What I am saying is that maybe you consider saying, all right, well, I need now business. Okay. I need now business. So I'm going to continue going after now business. But instead of putting all your eggs in the now business and going after the bloodbath business, maybe you put 10 conversations per day into what we call now business. And then you put the other 10 into maybe a list like talking about, like downsizers. And of every 2 per day, you should get 2 quality leads, which is what we just talked about. 2 quality leads that end up turning into, based on your follow-up, into actual listing appointments with people that have A, properties in the area in which you want to serve, B, they're bigger, so technically there's greater income opportunity for yourself, and then C, little to no competition. And so this is a huge opportunity for those of you that really, really get this. And so if you have questions on this, of course, throw them in the comment section. Let's have a conversation. But I'm hoping you look at this and say, wow, this is a great opportunity.